I think motivation is one of the most overrated ideas in the fitness space. And honestly, I think a lot of people stay stuck because they are waiting for motivation to save them. They want to feel ready, they want to feel inspired, they want to, wait until they feel locked in. They want to wake up one day and suddenly become the kind of person who does work consistently. But that's not how any of this actually works. It just doesn't. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and it goes. We're not just going to be able to rely on our motivations. It's too emotional, it's too inconsistent. And if your entire life depends on feeling motivated, then your results are always going to be unstable. That is why I think standards matter more than simply trying to rely on motivation. Most people think their problem is that they need more motivation. I don't think that is actually the problem. I think the real problem is that people have built a lifestyle that still allows too much room for negotiation. There's too many loopholes, there's too many excuses, too much room for emotion to actually rely on the decision making process. When you rely on motivation every day, just becomes another question. Like, do I feel like training? Do I feel like eating right today? Do I feel like doing the cardio? Do I feel like sticking to my plan? And if that's the framework, you're already losing. You're already going to lose because now your discipline is being put up for a vote every day, and emotion is just such a terrible leader. It's a terrible thing to rely on. That is why I think standards will always matter more than motivation does. A standard removes that internal debate. A standard says, this is what I do, whether I feel amazing or not, whether I'm excited to do it or not, even whether today is convenient or not. And that's the difference. Motivation says, I will do it even when I don't feel like doing it. A standard says, I do it because this is who I am. That is a completely different way to live. And I think that is where the real change actually starts. Not when you get up, or not when you get more fired up, not when you watch one more motivational clip. Some of them can be inspirational, but not reliable. Not when you buy a new supplement, not when you have the perfect freaking Monday. Real change starts when your behavior stops being based on your mood for that day, because mood is unstable. Standards are stable. And the truth is, a lot of people do not want standards. They want emotion. They want excitement. They want just a burst of energy to come from within. They want the fantasy of making changes without the structure of making the changes. And that is why so many people keep restarting over and over and over again. They're addicted to the beginning of the process. They love the moment where they feel inspired, but they've never built a system that survives when inspiration disappears. And the inspiration always disappears. And that is why standards matter, because standards carry you on the days when motivation is dead, is not nowhere to be found. And those are the days that usually matter the most. Anybody can go hard when they're feeling good and they're in a good mood. Anybody can be disciplined for 3 days. Anybody can lock in when everything is going perfectly. The real test is, what do you do when you're tired? What do you do when you're frustrated? What do you do when you're not seeing the results? What do you do when your emotions are telling you to back off? That is where people separate. And I think that is why the gym becomes such a powerful place for most people. Because the gym teaches you something bigger than just fitness. It teaches you that your feelings do not get the final vote. Your standards do. And once that clicks, it changes more than just your appearance. It changes your entire identity, because now you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to get motivated. You start seeing yourself as someone who does what needs to be done, irrelevant of what mood that they're in for that day or in that specific moment. And I think most people underestimate how important that really is, because motivation feels powerful in the moments, but standards build a life. Motivation simply helps to get you started. Standards keep you moving long enough to actually become someone that you strive to be. So when people ask me what matters more, motivation or discipline, I think they're asking the entirely wrong question. The real question shouldn't be, or excuse me, the real question is what standards have you set for yourself? Because if the standard is weak, your results will always be fragile, they'll be fleeting. But if the standard is high, your emotions stop controlling everything that you do. And that is where progress starts to become real. So, no, I do not think motivation is useless. It certainly has its place. It can get you moving, it can wake you up, it can remind you what you want. But it is a terrible foundation because it does not last. And if you build your life on something that does not last, you're going to keep collapsing. And that is why I believe standards simply matter more. Standards are what carry you when your emotions are inconsistent and all over the place. Standards are what make change real. Standards are what make progress repeatable. And in my opinion, that is the difference between people who flirt with change and people who actually become different. But I want to know from you guys. I want to know what you guys think. Do you believe that motivation matters more? Or do you agree that standards matter more? And what is one standard in your life that changed everything for you? Leave it down in the comments below. And if you like real conversations about training, discipline, mindset, and becoming harder to break, subscribe. Follow us for the journey. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one.